I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Comparison is a thief, and it will rob you of your peace and identity before you even realize it.
Elevate with Monique. Elevate. Elevate with Monique. Elevate.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Gracefully Elevating with Monique. And of course, I am your hostess. Now, the whole month of October, we have been talking about chapters from my book project, Peace Beyond Your Pain, which I'm very, very proud of because it is a labor of love. And it is a true story of how I journeyed through my life to find peace beyond the various ways I had experienced pain in my life. And so I am sharing those stories with you, and I'm sharing those strategies with you because in many cases, we live with pain in our lives and we don't deal with it. We don't address it and we don't find peace beyond it. And so it drives the way in which we move through our lives. And I want something different for you. So that is my gift to you. Find the link somewhere in this video and grab you a copy. But for today, we are talking about comparison and how comparison literally will rob you from your identity. Now, comparison was one of the pain indicators for me that I realized was robbing me of my peace long before social media ever became a thing. And if you know anything about any of my stories that I've shared, then you know that I was raised in early childhood with my grandmother and then eventually my great aunt. And my great aunt, God bless her soul, did everything that she knew how to do at that point in her life with the resources that she had to teach me and grow me to become a young woman. She is a huge contribution to who I am today. But that being said, there was a part of my relationship with my great aunt that really helped to shape the trajectory of the way I viewed myself for so long. And that was being compared. Now, in today's world, we have so many ways that we compare ourselves to other people through social media, mainly social media and the internet. But I want to share that comparison is one of those things that's almost like a silent stealer, right? For me, when I was going through childhood, adolescent, and early adulthood, hearing things like, you should be more like, or you should act like XYZ, they taught me that I wasn't enough. They subconsciously taught me this notion that I wasn't good enough. I didn't have what it took. I wasn't bringing my all, my authentic self to the table that was going to get me where I needed to be in my life. I don't believe for a second that my aunt did this on purpose, but it trained me to believe that this was a part of me that I couldn't change because I just wasn't good enough, right? And that produced a lot of pain in my life because what I started to do then is compare myself to other people. And in some ways, it also taught me to be jealous and envious of other people because they had something that I didn't have. And because they had something that I didn't have, mine wasn't good enough, or mine, it was lacking in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And so, what am I saying? When we get caught in this place of comparing ourselves to other people, one, it doesn't allow us to be our authentic self. We're always trying to find something that is wrong with us, or we are identifying with our failures or our shortcomings. That is the worst mistake that we could ever make in our lives, because we are enough. But then, too, when we compare ourselves, like I said a few minutes ago, it can breed jealousy, which is a low vibrational energy. And so, if you are operating from a place of jealousy and envy and always wanting what someone else has, we call that coveting, then you aren't even able to call in the things that you want to call in, because you aren't vibrating from a level of frequency that's going to pull those things in. You're always looking at what you don't have and what somebody else has. And then the third thing is, when we always compare ourselves to others, we lose our authentic voice. And what we do is we silence the things that we need to say, the way that we need to show up, because we somehow have convinced ourselves that if we show up in the most authentic way we can, that that's going to be ridiculed, or it's going to lack in some way. And so, what I want you to understand is that comparison creates wounds, emotional wounds, mental blocks in your life that can then continue to perpetuate pain in your life, lack in your life. So, how do you change that? How do you get out of this comparison mindset and this comparison mode? Number one is you remind yourself of who you are and whose you are. Okay. That was what I had to do. I had to remind myself I am a child of the Most High King. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm actually made in His image. There is nothing lacking in our God. There is nothing lacking about Him, and everything that He creates is perfect. And so I had to remind myself of those principles, the word, speaking it, affirmations, when I would find myself falling back into this comparison mindset. I would counter that thought with the opposite of whatever it is. If I said, "Oh, I'm not good enough to be in that room," then immediately I started to say, "Not only am I good enough, I'm qualified. I've been called, I've been chosen to be in that room. I will come to that room. I will show up in that room." Or, "I'm not I'm not lucky enough to make this amount of money. First of all, I don't need luck, because my Father owns all of the cattle on top of all of the hills in all creation. And therefore, I don't need luck. I am abundant. He has already made me abundant. And so I just have to walk in that abundance. I have to believe that God is going to bring me into the land that is flowing with milk and honey." Those are the type of conversations that I would have with myself. The other thing that I would do when it came to um, just reframing the tendency to compare myself to others is I took social media breaks, because sometimes social media can be a trigger. If you are already dealing with learning how to find your confidence in who you are, and let go of comparing yourself to other people, sometimes social media will play into that mindset, and you have to be wise enough to say, "No, I'm going to take a social media break. I need to get stronger in this area of my life, so that when I do see someone who shows up who looks like they might have more money than me, or looks like their life is more, joyous or beautiful or abundant or whatever, than mine is, I'm not triggered by what I see." That can sometimes be a challenge, because social media is everywhere. You have TikTok, you have Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all these new platforms. And so you've got to be wise enough to say, "I need to step back and I need to break from social media in order to build this muscle and believe enough in myself to know that I am worth it. I am enough. I am worthy." And then slowly you bring back in those platforms if you so choose. Another thing that you may have to do when you are reframing this comparison mindset is limit the people and the intake. Limit the people, limit the intake, the TV intake, the people that you may associate with, the places that you may go that trigger you to start questioning who you are. I know it might be challenging. I know you might not want to do that, but I promise you, if you try to implement some of these things, you will start to build that muscle. You will start to find the confidence in yourself so that as you are re-emerging in your elevated version of yourself, you're not triggered. You're not in that place of comparison. Yes, the tendency can sometimes still pop up. I see things on social media all the time. But now, instead of looking at certain things from a place of I'm lacking and they have, I look at it as, oh, they have it. Oh, it's possible. Oh, it's possible for me, baby, because it's coming. It's mine is coming too. And I can learn to celebrate with other people instead of hate on them because I know that I'm in my own lane. I know that mine is coming in its own timing. And I know that my purpose, my assignment, all of the gifts and everything that God has promised me is on the way. And so I'm no longer moved or compared by other people, other things that I see because baby, you are enough. You are beautiful. You have what it takes and you do not need to compare yourself to anyone else. Let go of the envy and the jealousy because that's only going to bring you back envy and jealousy, and you don't want that. We can't have envy and jealousy and move to the next level of our personal lives. They don't operate in the same frequency. And so what I want you to do is answer this question. What comparison are you carrying around that is stealing your peace and stealing your joy? Now, in Peace Beyond Your Pain, in the workbook, there is a section where you can journal your thoughts around that question. I know, you got to sit with it. You got to ask yourself the hard questions. But guess what? We are moving beyond pain. We are moving beyond lack. We are moving beyond neglecting ourselves. We are moving into a peaceful place. We are moving into a beautiful space, an abundant space, an authentic and healed space. And so let's do the work. You might as well do the work now so that you can have what it is that you want in the future. So listen, if you resonated with this video, one, I want you to leave me a comment below. Let me know one thing that resonated with you in this video. The second thing I want you to do is find the link somewhere in the video. Go grab you a copy of Peace Beyond Your Pain, if for no other reason other than to support your girl. But I promise you, if you take it seriously and you go through the book, it will absolutely help you to move into a peaceful place beyond whatever pain you may have experienced in your life. Oh, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your way out. Thank you so much for joining. If this is your first time joining Gracefully Elevating with Monique, I want to say welcome to the community. And if you are returning, then I want to say thank you so much. I love you for sharing some time with me, and I will absolutely see you in the next video. All right, bye.
Elevate with Monique.